Spiritual awakening through love doesn't always arrive the way you expect it to. It doesn't always feel holy or clear or peaceful. Sometimes it feels like anxiety. Sometimes it feels like your entire life no longer fits. Sometimes it starts in the most ordinary place. A conversation, a moment where someone looks at you, and something goes completely quiet inside you that has been loud for a very long time. I want to walk through what this actually looks like, because most content on spiritual awakening either makes it sound glamorous or makes it sound terrifying. The reality is usually something in between. The first sign is that your old life stops fitting, not dramatically, quietly. Routines that used to comfort you start to feel hollow. Friendships that felt natural start to feel like performance. Ambitions you chased for years start to feel borrowed, like they belong to a version of you that doesn't quite exist anymore. People notice. They say you've changed. They're right. But the change didn't start with the person. It started with something opening inside you that the person brought closer to the surface. The second sign is that you can't logic your way through what you're feeling. You could build a case for why none of this makes sense. The timing is wrong. The circumstances are complicated. On paper, it checks no boxes. And none of that matters to what you actually feel when you're with them, or what you feel in your body when you're not. That gap between what you know and what you feel is not irrationality. It's the beginning of a framework that's larger than the one you've been using. The third sign is that your wounds come to the surface uninvited. Old patterns, old fears, things you thought you had dealt with that turn out to still be very much alive. This is the one nobody warns you about, because it doesn't feel like awakening. It feels like falling apart. But what's actually happening is that the intensity of the connection created enough heat to bring buried things to the surface. You can't heal what you can't see. This is the seeing. The fourth sign is the synchronicities, the repeating numbers, the songs, the meaningful timing. I want to be honest about this because I hold both a spiritual and a psychological view. Your brain, our brain, when it's activated and searching, notices patterns it would otherwise scroll past. That's real. And some of what people experience genuinely seems to exceed that explanation. What I'll say is this: the synchronicities are most useful when they point you inward, when they become a reason to reach out, to check, to interpret obsessively. They've stopped being a compass and started being an avoidance mechanism. The fifth sign is that you start becoming more honest, first with yourself. The masks get heavy in a way they didn't before. The gap between who you present and who you actually are starts to feel like something you're no longer willing to carry. You find yourself saying things you've kept quiet for years, not to cause drama, just because the alternative, which is more silence, starts to feel like a kind of self-betrayal. Here's the thing I want to say about all of this. None of these signs prove the nature of the connection. They don't confirm a twin flame or a soulmate or anything else. What they tell you is that something real is happening inside you, and that something deserves your honest attention far more than it deserves a label. The healthiest version of spiritual awakening through love ends with you being more fully yourself, more honest, more whole, more capable of real intimacy, whether with this person or anyone else. That's the destination worth aiming for.